This is Audi's SQ6, which is a 483 brake horsepower or 510 if you're on boost version of their brand new mid-size, so they say, SUV. Oh, and they've also asked me to let you know that they flew me over here and put me up in a hotel and even bought me some dinner and drinks to get me here, but that has no bearing on my review of this new performance car from Audi's e-tron division. Performance version obviously hasn't changed in terms of dimensions. It's still almost 2 meters wide and almost 5 meters long. This version, however, gets red brake calipers. We have RS style wheels. This is Daytona grey, which works probably better with this black strip on the side of the car that has e-tron inscribed on it. And in this version you get SQ6 e-tron Quattro. The car has 8 different light signatures. Sometimes you can see the lights just move here. They're OLED on the rear, matrix on the front. SQ6 on this version of the car with the little red flag. The Audi logo now has a little bit of black surrounding on it, and you've got a bit more black going on down the lower section of the car. Still hanging on to a spoiler, thankfully still hanging on to a rear wiper, and a boot of 526 litres, which can be dropped obviously down with a 40-20-40 configuration in the second row of seats. So there's still lots of practicality in this performance version of the car. And actually, if you want to watch my full review of the new Q6, hit that link, because I'll go into more detail about the actual specifics of the vehicle, the interior. This video is more about the performance driving element of the SQ6. All about the additional flecks of red in the S version of any Audi. Red stitching across the dash, Alcantara, red flecks on the seat belt, the famous cross stitching on the seats. We have an S logo down the bottom here. The seats are obviously more bolstered. Aluminium coverings or metal coverings on the foot pedals, and you do notice that missing on the Q6 version. You'd almost expect it for the price. Still this huge wraparound screen, bit of extra holes or not fully perforated sections on your steering wheel, and it does feel more taut, more ready to go, a little bit more on edge at all times, but then it can also do all the practical stuff of the standard car. So let's test out this SQ6 version on the road and see what it's all about. Question you're understandably going to be wondering is, well, does it drive better or noticeably better than the standard version of the car? It certainly feels firmer, the steering is heavier. You also have your drive select, which you can click and put on dynamic mode, so you get a bit of an extra noise, sort of a growl out of the car, if it's fair to call it that. And it is a very planted vehicle on these Spanish motorways today. Plenty of sweeping curves, and the car just gets on with the job. And again, there's good levels of comfort. It's not overly firm. It's very little body roll. So they have achieved some truly great things in the Q6 when it comes to how the car manages the weight. The suspension and this PPE platform, and you know when Porsche are going to be involved, it's going to have to be good. It can't just be okay. Biggest noise is tire noise. Very little noise over the A-pillars of the car, even at motorway speed. So it's still a very refined vehicle. And then when you floor it, you get that augmented sound, but it's not too intrusive. It's, you know, you'd probably leave it on. When you lift off, you get a little bit of that movement in the car that you would get in a petrol engine if you were foot to the floor and then lift it off. My guess though is, with Audi not quite at 90,000 euro for the higher end versions of this car in the standard Q6, they're going to be looking for 100 for this. And is it 20 grand better than the standard car in everyday life? It's a hard one to call. You know, my head says no, but the car fan in me is like, yeah, but it's the S version. I want the cooler interior, the slightly more aggressive looks, that over boost of 500 plus brake horsepower when I want it. I mean, the gap it can close on another car is astonishing how quickly it manages to do it. But it is so quick in a straight line. It's like, and that's like how it goes into a bend. You really have to be doing crazy speed to ever feel like you might need to back off here a bit, buddy. But again, all this extra power, how much of that do you get to use in a real life, every day, don't get 3 points on your license situation, and that's another factor. Certainly these seats are great though for holding you in when you are taking corners on sweeping Spanish motorways. It's very grippy. Who knew PPE could mean something good after the last few years we've had? It's a bit of crack. Definitely a bit of crack to drive. Oh, and actually, before we do our summary, it's kind of doing the same consumption, a little bit higher than the standard car. Like I haven't been hanging around today, and it's 28.9 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. Not exactly efficient, but not exactly a slow car. And the standard version, the best I saw it do yesterday was 22 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which would suggest maybe 400 kilometers really. I mean, yeah, they say the rear wheel version will do 600. Best of luck with that. The SQ6 version of the Q6 e-tron. It's already a really great car to cruise around in, very, very comfortable, lots of good spec. I don't have a price of this version of it. Obviously the standard car is starting from €81,000 plus delivery in Ireland. If you get the S and RS heritage of Audi and you're a fan, I could see why you'd want to get this for the nicer seats, the red calipers. It probably could shout a bit more at the front that it's an S version of the car all the same. And the Daytona grey does look great. But really the standard car is enough. It's more if you just fancy the extra little bit of brake horsepower, a little bit of extra drama that comes with the sounds in the car, then it might be worth considering. Would it make you get into a version of an S, an electronic S Audi? Leave me the comment that comes to mind in the video comments down below. And thank you very much for watching.